Guys, welcome back. Today we have a new item that we are going to review here today. It is the Centerpiece Collection Black Series. This is the Darth Vader set on the Tentative 4. So very cool, very happy to have picked this up. I actually was going to bypass on the Centerpiece Collection. However, I ran into a gentleman at Toys R Us on Sunday, and he kind of talked it up a bit, talked about some of the additions that you can add to this, and how it's in a diorama setting. And as you guys know, if you watch this channel, you know I love dioramas, so he kind of sold me on these, so I went ahead and picked it up. I always liked these from the moment I first saw the promotional photos, but with the sticker price at $49.99 a piece, I thought it was something that I could bypass and possibly get at a later time. Maybe these will get reduced, I don't know. But I went ahead and paid the $49.99 for this one because I think it's totally awesome. And because it is in a diorama type setting, I really wanted to get my hands on this right away. So here it is, guys. So let's get started on this. We're going to start with taking a look at the box itself as usual. So getting a look at the front of the box there, guys, you can see basically what it looks like. Darth Vader stepping through the door, basically using the Force to knock the blast, the rebel blast away. So very cool. Door sitting there on the floor right there. So awesome. And then if you look in the background here on either side of Vader, you actually have photographs from the film up on board the Tentative 4 with the stormtroopers coming aboard, and then of course you have your rebels trying to hold them off at the door, which if you've seen the movie, you know they weren't successful with that. So very cool artwork on the front of the box, totally awesome. So to swing this thing around, of course we have a drawing of Vader on the side, complete with the Centerpiece Black Series logo. Really awesome, very nice box. I like these particular boxes, in addition to the boxes for Rey and Luke speeders. They come in a Black Series style a box, and really done up real nice on those two vehicles. And we're going to review those plus all of the other stuff that we picked up for Force Friday over the weekend at some point on the channel. But again, today we're going to start with this. So again, looking at the back of the box, we have Vader complete with a couple of stormtroopers there in the background. So you can add your 6-inch Black Series figures with this particular diorama of Vader walking upon the Tentative 4. That's one of the other things that convinced me to pick this up, because I'm like, okay, I can add any type of 6-inch figure to this diorama at any time that I want. Let me go ahead and pick it up. So again, on the back we have the stormtroopers there, Vader walking through. Get a close-up of Vader with his Force hand there, guys. Wish I could use the Force. I always try to grab the remote from when I'm sitting on the couch and they're sitting on the table. I try to see if the Force is going to allow me to bring the remote over to my hand. It hasn't worked yet, but one of these days, guys, I'm going to get the Force. And then of course we have another shot, a back shot of Vader stepping through the door, and then another shot again of him stepping on the other side of the door. Now do understand that this particular diorama, or this piece, does require 2 of the AAA batteries. So be aware of that while picking this particular item. And then of course here you have a description of the scene itself, what Vader's doing. It is in English and also in Spanish. So very cool information there. And then there's a couple of there's some legal information there at the bottom as well. And then, of course, in the Centerpiece series, this is item number 1. So if you want to jot that down for your records. All right, so there it is, guys, and we are going to open this bad boy up, and we are going to see what it looks like and get it all lit up and get our batteries inside. All right, guys, so we're going to go ahead and open her up. First time cracking her. I just cut the tape on it to get it get a nice release, a nice open. Sliding her out. I'm going to put her on the side here to make sure that I don't drop any of the contents out of the plastic container. So there is our insides, and let me close. I like to keep my boxes in good shape. Even though I may not keep my pieces in the box, I like to keep my boxes in good shape. I'm going to get that out of the way, and I'm going to stand this up a bit, and hopefully none of the pieces will drop out. I want you guys to get a look at the contents as they appear in the box. So there is our Darth Vader in his pose. As you can see, his garments are, you have to attach them, and we see the little attachments there. Also looks like a little attachment there, and then of course his blade is in the background right there. Looks like that blast point that we see that's in the doorway of the tentative is right there. So very, very cool. And then actually on the back side, you have your doorway, the piece here that Vader is actually stepping through, and another piece of the platform, not quite sure what that is, but probably where your figure is going to stand with the other figures. More than likely that's what it is right there. So guys, let's get this thing pulled apart. As you can see, I'm gonna have to do some cutting here to get this stuff out. So let's get that done. All right, guys, so we have our instruction manual out. We have all of our pieces out of the box. It's not too many pieces. It looks to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces in total. And I'm just counting. I may be missing a piece or two that may be in the plastic here. But I think I counted 9 pieces total for this particular set. So it's not a lot of pieces, not a bunch of stuff that you have to search for and put together. Seems fairly simple. And we're going to get a look at the instruction book right now. So let's get that thing cracked open. So there are some tools that are going to be needed, and I unfortunately didn't bring any of my tools with me here to the office, so I hope I do not have a problem trying to get this thing. I may have some tools in the car, but I don't even think, oh, I do have tools. I brought the right car, because I usually drive my, I have 2 cars, and I usually drive my Corvette that doesn't have really any tools in it. But I brought my Lincoln, and I should have some tools in the back, so that'll be cool for that. So if we get a look at the instructions here, just real cool. You see that Vader has to be put together, and we'll do that. And then of course there is the platform, the set itself, that has to be put together. Looks fairly simple. Again, as I mentioned, it does require a screwdriver there to insert the batteries in. I don't know why I didn't think of that, but there is where the batteries would go in right there. So we're going to get all of that done here, guys, in just all right, you guys. So now that we have our contents pulled out of the box, the first thing it basically tells you to do is to put these 2 pieces together like so, and they just snap right together, kind of like a Lego type of deal. So fairly easy. I'm gonna go ahead and take care of that now. So we want to make sure that we have it all nicely in place, because there's a lot of stuff that's going to need to go on top of this in order to get it in place. So we have it all nicely in place, as you guys can see. I know it's kind of hard to see when it's down on the ground, but there it is, or on the table, I should say. So we have it all nicely put together. The second part of the instructions requires us to put the doorway into the floor panel here. So we're gonna do that. Again, it fits nicely into the grooves, and you wanna press down firmly to make sure that it is in place, not hard, because you don't wanna damage anything, obviously. So there we go, we have our doorway in place. And the next step that we have to do is we're going to put our door that is laying on the floor down. So we're gonna take care of that. Here's a good look at the door itself, just so you guys can see it. Nice weathering on it, burns effect, little fire effect there, make it look like it's burning. So very, very cool. All right, so with the proper placement for the door, you have your door sitting right there, as you guys can see. And I apologize, guys, if there is a kind of looks like it's kind of hard to see, but there it is, guys, with the door placed properly where it needs to be. So the last thing that we're going to do for the platform itself is we're going to put our blast point, which is going to be right here. As you can see, there's a little LED light there. And then the blast point itself has two little, has two little pegs on it right there that are going to fit in the two slots that are right there. So we're going to get that in there. All right. So we have our blast point, bam, in place. Very cool. So the next thing we're going to have to do, guys, is get our Vader together. So I'm going to move the platform here. There it is in its fully together state. So here is Vader, and I want to get you guys a very good close look at the Vader figure itself, complete with his hilt in hand. Pegs are attached to the feet, so this is not going to be a statue that you're going to be able to just stand anywhere other than on this platform in the pegs. So now we're going to have to apply his garments to him, so we're going to get that done right now. The instructions state to remove the head and the torso from the legs, so we're going to do that starting with the head. All right, so we got the torso apart, we have his legs, and we have the head. So there, everything is apart. So we're going to, the first thing it says to do is to apply the bottom piece of his garment that also includes his belt and all of that stuff. So we're going to get that done. Snaps on fairly easy, so it looks really good. Get you guys a look at it. Looks really good. There's no space between the torso there. And then we want to now place his cape on his back. And as you can see, there are some grooves there. In the back of the figure, there are some grooves as well that would fit the cape. So you want to get those in there properly. Okay, so we got his cape there. His cape is on. Last thing to do is to place the head on the figure. So we're gonna do that. It's actually not the last thing to do. All right, so now we have everything in place. Vader is complete. No spacing between the garment areas. So everything should be good. Head is in there. So we're gonna lay Vader to the side. I'm still gonna need to put his blade in hand, so I'm gonna take care of that right now. Take his blade right here. All right, so we got his blade in hand. He's ready to go into his set. So there are two peg holes for the legs. You more than likely probably want to get the bottom leg in there first, so we're going to try and get that done. Bottom leg is in. Guys, so we have everything in place. Vader is in place, as you can see. Totally awesome. Love this thing. Very glad I picked it up. As I stated, I almost bypassed on this, but I'm glad I did not. Get you guys a 360 look at it. So very, very awesome looking. I mean, very, very impressive. Love the way that they have the cape flying there as he's stepping through the door. Just awesome, awesome, awesome work here. Look at that, how the cape is just flowing. Just so freaking awesome. So there it is, a 360 look, guys. Very, very awesome. I love that. At first I was looking at his saber and I thought it was in the wrong placement, but it is actually where it needs to be. Unfortunately, and I don't believe it does, but the sword doesn't light up. That would be a super bonus if they had the sword light up as well on this thing. But unfortunately, I don't believe that is the case with this. Something they might want to think about in the future if they decide to do any more of these type of centerpieces. You might want to have the blade light up just as an added bonus for those who, just so the pricing makes a bit more sense. You know, $50, not too bad. But I mean, if you give me the lit saber, I'm not complaining about the $50. So to get the power going on this thing, there's a button right here. And there we go. Now, it's only going to light up for 12 seconds because I hit it real briefly, real short. So this is like a brief example of the lighting. It should cut off in about 12 seconds. But there it is. You can see the blast was lit up as well as the lights in the doorway. So very, very cool. So now what we're going to do with this thing, and one of the reasons why I picked it up, is we are going to add some of our 6-inch Black Series figures to this diorama. So let's get a look at And also, guys, this is the other thing I wanted to show you. I forgot to mention this as well, and I hope none of this falls over. But underneath here, right here, are the additional pegs for your additional figures that you want to put on here with your diorama. So there is a total of 6 pegs here. Which I believe is good for 3 different characters. And I do have 3 different characters that I'm going to add on here. So we will be using a full lot of pegs on this thing. So let's get started. Guys, so we have our 2 added 6-inch figures, our stormtroopers with Vader on the tentative 4 centerpiece here. Looking very cool, very awesome. It has little pegs, as I mentioned, so you can put your 6-inch figures on the diorama with Vader here. So it's very, very cool. So we're going to turn the lights on and everything and get a look at this thing, a 360 look. I'm going to put it on for the longer duration, so bear with me for just a moment. So it should stay on until I cut it off. Again, for 12 seconds of lighting, you want to just press it like real quick once. And then to keep it on until the battery gets low, you would want to hold the button basically for maybe a second or 2, and you'll get continuous lighting until the battery gets low or until you cut it off. So very, very cool. As you can see, again, the blast point kind of lights up. It's kind of flashing there. So very, very cool. And as you can see, the inner door kind of lights up. So awesome, 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 awesome piece. And you can include your 6-inch figures with it. I'm gonna bring it a bit closer so you guys can get a better look. Just very, very awesome. And we're gonna see what it looks like with the lights off. All right, so there it is, guys, with the lights off. And I just have the computer light running so you guys can still see it, but very, very cool nonetheless. It's awesome, awesome, awesome piece right here, guys. And I definitely would suggest picking this up if you can afford that $49 price tag, $50 price. It's most definitely worth it, especially since it is compatible with your other 6-inch figures. I know there's been a couple of individuals who put their snow troopers on here. I wanted to, since it is the 10 of the 4 diorama, I wanted to put stormtroopers on here. And as a matter of fact, this particular stormtrooper is a sand trooper, not your standard stormtrooper. So he is a bit out of place on this diorama. That's why I kind of put him towards the back. But still, very, very cool, very, very nice piece. Definitely would recommend this even if you pick it up at the $49 price tag, I think it's still well worth that money. And I am a collector of articulated figures, and I can tell you I really enjoy this as a collector of articulated figures. I think this is super awesome to have sitting on your table, on your collection area. I think it's just an awesome piece to have and looks really, really good with your collection. So I want to thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. And from the Father to the Son to the Obi-Wan Force Ghost, may the Force be with you always.